Welcome. This is the new player orientation class, or how to get started on Ironhall. This is page 1. We have something called the Daily Herald. We try really hard not to spam people with group messages. Instead, we keep a running log of in-character and out-of-character notices on this website. It's called the Daily Herald. Everyone should have seen the link for the Daily Herald going out over Port of Ironhall groups. There are also 2 in-game locations to load the page. One is at the port office near the landing, and the other at the bakery. Just click on it. It'll load the Daily Herald page. We expect you guys to check the Daily Herald regularly and to read back on any notices that you've missed. You do not want to be spammed with group messages. If you would like to submit something to the Daily Herald, there is a mailbox for the Herald in the port office. We will get into kin and stuff later, but as a recommendation to anybody who is looking for family, you can drop a note card about the family and who you're looking for into the Daily Herald mailbox, and one of our editors will post it. If you are interested in being being an editor for the Herald, you can also apply for that. You find information on how to be an editor at the top of the Daily Herald page. Second, expectations. These are the expectations of this sim in general. Number 1, we expect that you are here to be part of the community, and specifically, if you are in Ironhall, which we are a teaching sim, we're here to teach, you are expected to learn. So nobody knows everything. We expect you to learn and further your education. We're a by-the-book sim, and we're here to teach by the book. We expect that you are here to role play, and thus to keep icy or in character, which means not going out of character into people's IMs because of role play. A lot of times things go bad, somebody hops into somebody's IM, and the next thing you know, you got a fight, somebody broke the code of conduct, and then we have a problem. So keep it in character, keep your OC not about role play. So absolutely can socialize. I love that you guys are socializing, but no hopping into other people's IMs and bitching about role play. We expect that if someone attempts to teach you out of character, for instance, you accept it gracefully and that they offer the assistance kindly. So be polite when you offer something and be gracious when somebody attempts to receive it. We also expect you to use the website. There is a vast amount of issues that can be resolved simply by using the website. At the bottom of the website, there is a big search button where you can search topics. You can ask me on things, and I know every page by heart, and I can usually drop you the note card, the link for the website as fast as you can ask the question. All right, Code of Conduct. I hope you have all read the Code of Conduct. It is expected of players and visitors to adhere to. Absolutely must adhere to the Code of Conduct. It includes your expectations on greeting players, offering hospitality, not being rude out of character, being patient with new players, and accepting in-character consequences and chat rules. Please take a moment to look at it, even if you think you've looked at it before. Not following the Code of Conduct is the one thing that will get you banned faster than anything else on this region, on this sim, or any of the 3 sims we have. Absolutely. Observer tag. I'm sure everybody knows about observer tags. If you're not yet ready to enter the sim and roleplay, we encourage you to keep your observer tag on. With the observer tag, you may watch the roleplay, but not be a part of it, ask questions in IM or the guest group, wander around all of the sims to look at, but please do not enter personal buildings. Nobody likes that. Stay out of personal buildings if they're locked. I don't want to see guests sitting through doors or lock-picking doors because they're curious. Those are personal locations. Not engage in combat. If you're familiar with a GM meter, you do not need to wear the observer tag. You can set your meter to OC and set your tag to observer by typing /12 meter label observe in local chat. Prospective slaves. There is no plausible fiction for an unowned slave in Gore. Let me repeat that. There is no plausible fiction for an unowned slave to be in Gore. If you are looking for a new home, please make use of the observer tag and do not enter roleplay. Once you are ready to enter the roleplay, you may become a port slave. To be very quick, the port slave allows you the fiction of claiming that you were purchased by any one of the numerous ship's captains that sail in and out of Ironhall. You can even claim that you belong to the harbor master. We don't care. After that, you can look to see about being sold to one of our many slaver houses or arranging a private sale with one of the other members. If you are questions or don't want to do that, you can contact Bain or Quinn and they will help you out. North versus South. We have a lot of people coming here from the South, so I'm just going to go over it real quickly to give everybody some of the big differences. Jarl, not Ubar. The leader of a village or hall in Torvald's land is called the Jarl, not an Ubar. Just as free women may call a man Ubar, they may call a man Jarl. There is no caste. We don't actually know if there isn't any caste, but generally in SL Torvald's land, we do not roleplay having castes. However, we may hire those who are Southern caste healers and Southern caste scribes. Anybody looking for a scribe, please look right here. Lady Mare is our only scribe that I know of. If you are a scribe and you want to be part of the Ironhall scribes, contact her. She's not actually our head scribe, but she's the only one doing the job. So at the moment, she's head scribe. So if you need a scribe for anything, contact her. No homestone. We do not have a homestone, but the same pride in city exists. On the Kaisa board, the hall replaces the homestone, demonstrating the sheer importance that we place on the hall. Now keep in mind, we have six halls at the moment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 6. And we are adding 3 more. All right, so we will have 9 halls at the time the 3rd sim is built. Priest Kings versus Odin and Thor. We worship Odin and Thor, not the Priest Kings. We don't really like the initiates, so be careful if you start, throwing around the term Priest King, even if you are a Southern Priest King serving person, that expect some pushback. Just as you might not want to go running into Saudi Arabia telling them all you're Christian, you might want to be careful about the devotion you hold to the Priest Kings this far up north. Serving styles. This is something that a lot of people from the South have a little trouble getting used to. Bonds serve fast, all right, and no formality. They are not expected to write a book to get you a drink or engage in the excessive formality of cleaning, checking, kissing, praying, oh my God, and no juicing your drink. When you order a drink in Ironhall, expect to get it quickly and with little fanfare. That's by the book. Size of the men. The men in Torvald's land stand easily at 7 feet, some as tall as 8 feet. There's one example of a man who is 9, I believe. We do not like the use of prim or mesh avatars for players. That needs to be changed to explain that we're not looking for people to attempt to be giants over the height of 8 feet. The only person who's currently approved for that is Teralf. I know everybody keeps getting taller and taller and taller, but the taller you get, the shorter the bonds look. So let's try and keep our avatars within the 8 to 9 feet height, please. Not all are they laggy, they're overkill. I'm going to change this since this is an older thing in here, and I'll get that updated. I know everybody's using mesh avatars these days. Size of the women. While there is no clear height example, the height of native-born Torvalds Land women, they are described as tall. Native-born women, free and slave, are welcome and encouraged to stand at least 6 to 6.5 feet. Some might even stand as high as 7. You can put some weight on. We can go over questions on this later. And size of slaves. Slaves can't get bigger, can't get taller just because they're from the South. By the book, slaves are as short as 5'4". Where Sim currently has a 5'10" height restriction. There is a scale inside the port office. If you are under that height or weight, you got to get a little bigger, because unfortunately people start feeling like they're having sex with their teenage daughters. So 5'10" was the negotiated height. We can go over that if anybody wants to talk about it. But feel free to put on some extra weight. Torvy men seem to like them plump. Sim rules. We have 3 different sets of rules in Ironhall: out of character, in character, and guidelines. The OC set are those that the moderator and admins enforce. They're primarily raid rules. Any meter combat must follow the raid rules, including the 2 minutes after drawing a weapon before you initiate attack. No ganking players, please. The OC rules, which include dress and behavior, are intended to only be enforced in character. At this point, we have been enforcing them because I think people are getting kind of exhausted, but it is your right to enforce in character laws. You'll take any help you can to step up to the plate and enforce them. Guidelines, which are recommendations to various groups like Panthers and Curs on how to play here successfully. Joining the Sims. At this point, you should be in the port of Ironhall and have your correct tags. If you do not have correct tags, you can IM the Port Office Harbor Master to have your tags chained. He's a bot. He is completely scripted. If you IM him, he'll tell you to type register, and you can change your tag to free man, free woman, private slave, port slave. Don't have to IM me. You can do it all yourself. If you are renting on Sim, you should also already be in the Ironhall Land group and have the correct tags. If you are staying with another person who has rented, we consider you a sublet tenant. You should also have the Ironhall Land group tag and be able to set home. If you have not been set up yet, we have a manual for our rental system, which will show somebody how to add you as a sublet tenant. You may also IM the Port Office Harbor Master to have your tag changed. There are additional memberships that will be offered at some point to individuals. We'll address that in the second week's class, but they are, for example, Quinn runs Tierstis Tier for the Starcoast Mod Clan. Blaze runs a group for the Volsanger Clan. Mare and her Jarl Darkness have their own group that they run. There is also the Sons of Fenris. There's a healing group. There is a scribe group. And there is a newly formed defense group. Lots of groups for you to get involved in. Greets and hails. One of the things you'll want to know about when entering roleplay is how to greet others. The most common used greetings are Tal and Ho, greetings and hail. We use hail when we hail a hall primarily. Hail to the Hall of Ironhall. Hail to the Jarl of Ironhall. We do strongly encourage you to greet others and to provide your own name and details as have been determined so far. I spent 2 days sitting on the landing docks under an alt, and I had people walk right past me even though I was greeting, and some of them were members on Sim. Let's take a moment to greet people, especially new people. Slow down if somebody sends a greeting. If you can't, at least IM them with a quick thanks. friendliness, OC makes a big difference. By the way, free men and free women can and should call a man who is the Jarl of a sim Jarl. And the Jarl is the leader of the sim, and they may call them my Jarl. It is not a horrible offense to call a man who is your Jarl my Jarl. For example, I can call Bane my Jarl. Mare can call Darkness her Jarl. Njordur can call Bane my Jarl. Okay, those are the Jarls that you're sworn to. We have a number of Jarls on Sim: Jarl Darkness, Jarl Quinn, Jarl Blaze, and I think that's it. I think those are the only Jarls we have. All right. Here's another thing on ordering. Let me just say this is directed to bondmaids. Bondmaids are not trained to always offer food and drink to every person who walks near a long hall or food establishment. They are not Kajira, and they are not waitresses. The men of the hall ordered food and drink. I did not sit around waiting for a slave to offer it. If you want something, open your mouth and shout out, "Bond, mead, harda!" Most slaves will bring you whatever you order because they've been taught online to never argue with a free. However, this is the North. We drink mead and ale. Mead and ale are served in horns, either your own or one from the kitchen, and tankards. Mead is served room temperature or warmed over a fire, but never hot. Ale is served room temperature right out of the keg. If you do not want to drink something alcoholic, you may order Bosk milk. It is fictionally unlikely that we have black wine or Bozzy tea at all. Don't order it. We might have other drinks such as Paga or Sulpaga or Kalana, but is not commonly stocked and would be expensive or a great imposition for a visitor to order something such as this. Please order mead or ale. If you wish to order food, the simplest thing to order is meat and bread. There is almost always something roasting, and there is usually bread to be had. Obviously, a bakery will have pastries and such. Many other items such as fruit juice and even fresh vegetables will be seasonal and unlikely during winter, which runs from October to April. Huge thanks to Phoebe, who is our Jarl's daughter and hall mistress, who does a menu for the hall every day. It's on the blackboard in the hall. Bondmaids can come in, look to the left. That's what we're serving. Also, Sven has recently taken over the bakery. He does the same thing. What's served and fresh at the bakery is on a blackboard in the back of the bakery. Tags. We have a lot of groups, but to give you a quick overview, you'll see Jarl is the leader of Ironhall, or of Torvald's Land, who is living in Ironhall. Jarl's woman, free companion of Jarl. Minor Jarl. This is a Jarl who is in service to Bane and who has been awarded the Talmud of Jarldom, but does not otherwise have or own their own lands. Captain. This is a tag that might be similar to that of Jarl's Axe or First Axe. Our captain is Njordur. All right, Njordur, please raise your hand. If you are interested in being part of the Ironhall Defense League, no, that's not what it's called, you want to contact Njordur. You may also see Lieutenant, which is an officer ranked just below Captain. Our Lieutenant is Bane Tyr, who is Bane Thorstad's great-grandson. I don't think he's here at the moment, but if he is, he should raise his hand. You may also see lawmen. We currently have no lawmen and are looking to hire some that would keep law and order in the port, to the point where we don't kill anybody else's roleplay. So if you're interested in being a lawman, you should speak to Njordur. He will take your measure and may or may not recommend you to Bane. Overseer or slaver, two slightly different terms. In the North, overseer is one who oversaw the thralls on the farm for the Jarl. However, we also happen to have slavers because we're a port city. I know that Quinn runs a slaver house, And someone in the port office also runs a slaver house. If you know of a slaver house and you want to raise your hand and let them know, give a quick shout out. Chatelaine. This title is not present in the books, but it indicates a free woman of rank just below Jarl's woman. It's similar to Hall Mistress, which isn't by the book either. I chose Chatelaine because Chatelaine is closer to Lieutenant and Captain than Hall Mistress is. Obviously, we do not expect you to know who these people are in character, but as a new player, it does help to know who is of rank in the community. Keeping that in mind, that there is also a mod board right inside the port office. If you click on the picture, it will tell you every admin and mod online, every RP advisor online, and every welcome wagon online. Somebody needs help, you need help, you've got questions. You don't all have to come to me and to Rolf. There are other people that can help you, and they probably have that information quickly. Not that I don't want to talk to you, but my head hurts. All right, behavior. This is a topic I only need to mention to a few new players, but it is one you should be aware of. If you want to be treated well and welcome into the fold of the roleplay, don't come on Sim with an attitude. I say this to slave, free, men, women. People at Ironhall are generally welcoming, except in the port. But we're clannish, we're Torvies, we're family-oriented. If you cop an attitude, not only will you receive it in kind, you may very well find yourself challenged or tossed on a ship and asked not to return. Obviously, this is directed at experienced Koreans who are aware of the possible consequences of their roleplay. As one additional note to those who are not familiar with Torvald's Land and Gore but consider themselves experienced roleplayers, as someone with 30 years of experience in a wide range of roleplay venues, I can tell you, do not assume that you can just roleplay your way through this world based on your roleplay skills alone. Gore is its own roleplay world with its own acceptable fiction and behavior, and Goreans are not necessarily accommodating of new players who come onto their Sims with a chip on their shoulder. Don't do. Until you've had a chance to read the in-character laws listed here, we suggest that you avoid the following topics so as not to face RP consequences unprepared. Do not collar or claim to collar a slave in the cluster. We do not accept the fiction that slaves are unowned. Consequently, there should be no slaves looking for an owner. If there is one and they are if they are new, please just show them the unowned slaves page. There are so many slaves who come in and come out. We don't necessarily want to just grab them all and send them through some plays process. Give them the unowned slaved information, let them come, let them decide if they want to be here. Please do not threaten to collar or attempt to collar a free woman of the cluster. The men of the Tormark Fell, Ironhall, and its 2 other Sims take this action very seriously. If you engage in this roleplay, you will be considered a threat and not a welcome visitor. I'm going to grab Blaze, send him a quick PP. And there we go. So, if you see someone trying to collar a slave or a free woman of the mark and you don't recognize them, seek out a person of authority and character. If you yourself are such a man, feel free to interfere. Be prepared to be challenged or even attacked by the uneducated. Challenging. We have an arena. If you have not learned already, you can go to the Thingstead, which is the big circle next to the other little circle, which is near the drawbridge. It's the big circle. On the left-hand side of the Thingstead post as you enter, you can change it to one of the arenas. It's on a reser. As for challenges, conflict between men is traditionally settled by duel, not just grabbing weapons and attacking. It's considered highly dishonorable for a man to refuse a duel unless the rank between the 2 men is vast or if the man is an outlaw. We recognize the high or formal duel and not the low duel. But if the two of you would like to beat the shit out of each other with fisticuffs or wrestling, knock yourselves out. Your profile. Most of our players are extremely patient. However, it is to your advantage to let us know if you need some specific patience as you begin your role play here. If you're new to Gore or even to Torvald's Land, please put that in your profile. If you're still unsure in your role play, put that in your profile. If English isn't your primary language and you need some extra patience, please put that in your profile. If you're a slow typist and want people to be patient, put that in your profile. One of the things that is often a line of frustration for people is how they are corrected when they make mistakes. Some people like to be corrected in role play. Some like to be corrected in IM. If you have a preference, put it in your profile. We're almost done here. Free women escorts. All right. We don't believe that anybody would travel somewhere unescorted. We think that any free woman who leaves and goes traveling by a ship couldn't possibly be a dumb enough bunny to have been unescorted in by-the-book Gore. Consequently, we assume that if you are a northern free woman of allied halls, that your men escorted you here. Feel free to take the cart. It's located near the landing of the port office. I'll take you right up to the board, and you'll be safe. You won't have to walk through the port. Free women will attempt to assume that you have an escort, but you may not be granted protection by the men of Ironhall, and your NPCs may not help you in a conflict. Please, seriously, think about what you're doing. Come with a player escort, hire a player escort, ring the bell for trade, don't leave the docks at the immediate landing area. We have had way too many people who are role-playing unescorted free women sauntering into the port. Collar them, guys. It's not by the book. Let's not start it. Combat and rating. If you're not observing, you are required to have your meter set in combat mode. That means not out of character. You may set your meter to AFK if you need to step away from the keyboard, but you can't do it just to avoid combat. All right, last, God moding and negative emotes. Please do not God mode someone, and don't use negative thought emotes without physical representation. We really hate this, and you will receive not only in character, but out of character pushback for it. Number one, God moding is when you do or say something against somebody else without letting them respond to their actions that are done to them. Don't even God mode slaves. I don't care that they're slaves and that you're bigger than them and they have to do whatever the free is. Please don't grab a knife and stab that knife into the chest of a slave and not allow them to role play their own actions and harm. Okay? Makes me insane. I don't care that you think they're slaves. They're not slaves behind the keyboard. And if they are, you still shouldn't be stabbing them in character. Let them role play their own actions. In addition, anyone, anywhere, if you receive anybody negative thought emoting at you, please feel free to role play as if they said it out loud. This concludes the recorded portion of our Getting to Know Ironhall Class 1, and we will be moving on to questions and answers.